Welcome to tonight's episode of Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, and as always, I have a very special guest for you, Maxine E. Lewis, founder of the Carlton, Locksley, Bennett Foundation. She'll be with us for the next 30 minutes, so stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV.
Beyond Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered.
Welcome to tonight's episode of Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, and as always, I have a very special guest for you, Maxine E. Lewis. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's great to have you. We love having people in the community who are doing great things, so officially welcome. But before we get started, I wanted to introduce you to our program and my famous question, which is, who is Maxine E. Lewis?
Okay, I always say that I'm a mother, wife, grandmother, great-grandmother, and a woman of God.
Wow.
Yes.
That is amazing, first of all. And congratulations. You don't even look like a great-grandmother, let alone great-grandmother.
Thank you.
So that's amazing. But before we get into the foundation, what led up to all of this? What were you doing career-wise, personality-wise?
So I was born and raised in Jamaica, West Indies, and I came to Florida when I was 24 years old. I had 2 children that I had in Jamaica, and I left them to come here. While I was there in Jamaica, I did a lot of, growing up, I was this kid in the community that put events together, put things together, bring people together, just wanting a community to be just doing something that really helps everyone else and everybody's just happy. Mm-hmm. So I felt that I was a happy child. And at a later time, I went into, I was attending a vocational center. And I was considered the leader of that. And we would go into the poorer part of the neighborhood and to help families. Paint their house, cook food, bring them, take their child to our center and let them stay there for the day. And I would do all these things. So I have that heart to do that.
Absolutely.
And I also wanted to become a teacher. And based on stories that I heard about being a teacher here, that changed.
Of course.
But I still wanted to do things to help. And when I moved from Florida and came to New York because I felt Florida was boring. And the great stories that I hear about New York, the Big Apple, I wanted to come.
Right.
So I came. Eventually, I brought up my 2 kids. At that time, I had another child here. So now I have 3 children. Became a single parent and just felt that I was doing everything, providing well, working, and something changed.
Which was what?
One night my son, 16-year-old Locksley as we call him, went to the Bronx to visit family members, stepmom, and half siblings. And he didn't come home.
And tell us about that, Dave, because that's a reality that many of us face right now. You know, violence, gun violence. You know, you see, especially since the pandemic, how this all just expedited. Everything is more heightened, but this has been an issue that's been going on. I don't want to say it's not a new thing, because it's not, but it feels more present because there's just such an abundance of it. And it's like, we know there's gun problems in New York
yes.
and all those different things. So tell us about that, because that's like every parent's fear, to get that phone call and that their child is not going to ever come home. So if you're comfortable, kind of tell us, share that with us.
Yeah. So he went to the Bronx, as I said, to visit his stepmom and his half siblings, and he called me when he got there, because that's how it's set up. When you go anywhere, my children, they know, call me when you reach. Just let me know that you're okay.
Yeah.
So he did call. We spoke for a little while, and then he said tomorrow. So we said okay. So about 3 p.m. the next day, there was a video store at the bottom of the street. We're at the bottom of the block. Back those days, you go to the
video store.
Yes, and me and my younger son, we went, and I got some videos that we're going to watch. And as I'm walking back to the house, my mind just went on my son Locksley. And I said, oh, he'll call me later. So now that was the Saturday because he went the Friday.
Right.
So we went in and didn't even start watching the movie yet. And then his stepmom called and said he went to a party last night and he didn't come back. And my first word is, I'm going to kill him. So that's another thing I talk about, not using negative words.
Right.
So that was the first. You're not going to
Caribbean, the whole goat
Yes,
mouth.
yes.
It's like you almost spoken into existence.
Very true. So I said, what do you mean he didn't come home? And she said, they went to a party. And I'm saying, where? And she has no idea where. So I went to the Bronx the same night, the Saturday. They had no information.
And it's not like now where it's easy. You could check Instagram and see where the party might have been, or if anyone posted anything, or you really had to do some digging.
Yeah, so I went to the precinct there, can't remember where, and then they direct me to come to my precinct. At that time I was living in East New York. So I went to my precinct in East New York. And,
But he disappeared in the Bronx, so I wouldn't understand.
I don't even know. I guess maybe because that was 1993. So long ago. So whatever happened, I found out this Sunday that my son was shot and killed. This Sunday. Our lives, my life just changed, because a week before, I was speaking to a friend of mine who had called me to buy her a plane ticket to go to Jamaica because one of her brother died. And I said to her, this is so sad, because parents should not bury children.
Right.
Children should bury parents. I just said that to her, because this was like her second sibling died.
Oh, wow.
And, she said yes. And less than a week, we are calling her to tell her
the news
about, telling someone about your child being murdered, feeling that pain, like, oh my goodness, nothing, you can't compare it to anything.
We'll hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with You're watching Beyond Focus TV. So Maxine, right before the break, we were talking about that pain and how there's nothing else that really could compare to it. And I know you still, even though it is 1993, looking at you could still feel
that.
That.
That is something that's not going to go anywhere. The difference is I don't wake up every day thinking, feeling. But I remember that time. I remember 1993 when I didn't want to live. I didn't want to live because there was this pain that was so bad that anyhow I could get through it is if I literally die. That was the only way to relieve this pain from me that was like nothing, no other pain. When you think about your child, 16 years old, didn't graduate from high school, when you think about that, you have plans for him that he's going to get married, he's going to go to college. You have all these plans, the man is going to be. And all of that taken away. The grandkids you're going to have, everything just wipe out.
And of course, people always, their immediate thing, especially when it's a young boy of color, is, well, was he involved in anything?
Yes, question like that.
It's always
yes.
the immediate, well, was he in shit? Was he into things? What was it?
Well, the thing is, I didn't have media. At that time, there was nobody that knocked on my door from the newspaper, from television, no, nothing. But you have people that you know that's asking you that know your lifestyle.
Yes.
And asking you those questions.
Was he?
Exactly.
Could he have been involved? Do you think he might have been?
Exactly, yes.
Maybe he was in a gang and you didn't know.
Yeah.
And all these different things.
But he was shot for a gold chain. He had a gold chain. So when the
So
story...
it was a robbery.
Yes. He went to a party. And someone that was on drugs, smoking blunt, drinking for like 2 days, saw him with the gold chain and wanted it, and accosted him for it. And he put the gun at my son's head, and my son knocked it like that, and my son ran. But he chased him down. He was in an apartment building. And he chased him down, and according to the witness, he put his 2 feet on the ground, aim, and fire.
So it was deliberate.
Yes. And that was that. My life changed. My children's life changed. My whole family, the community that we lived in, everything changed. I said history changed. Yeah. Because my son...
Because your life as you knew it up until that day was no longer the same. The Maxine who existed prior to that date is no longer that person here.
Exactly. True. And you look at it that a part of history is missing, because who he was supposed to be, he wanted to be a soccer player, not a professional soccer player, because he played soccer for his high school, Canarsie at the time, and he wanted to become an engineer. So, people talk of him being the next Pele, and that, yes, and the great engineer that he would become. So, that's history. No grandchildren from him.
Yeah, that part of legacy, that he never got to leave the legacy.
Gone.
And what about the murderer?
He was, at the beginning, when it happened, the person that become the witness later on did not want to testify in the beginning. So 3 years later, he came right back, and he was tried and convicted and sentenced to 15 years in prison.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he did his time.
Yes.
It would never bring him back, but justice was somewhat certain.
Yes, and, I'd planned that when he came up for parole, I'm going to be there. I planned that I was going to be the thorn in his side. I was going to be up there. But somewhere along all of that, something happened. I forgive him. I don't know how, but I just know one day I heard myself screaming in my house and said, I forgive you, I forgive you. Just like that. I don't know what happened.
You did it for your peace and for you.
I guess that's what it was. And I never looked back.
Leave him be.
All I said is, I hope when he get out, he's doing something worthwhile. Because I remember I had a little daughter at the time in court.
And he was young too?
He was about 24 at the time of the shooting. 3 years later, he was 27.
15 years. He's a big man, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about him last night.
Yeah, he's a big man.
Yeah. Supposed to be in his 50s.
Yeah, he'll be in his 50s.
You know, but my son is not here, and that's why I do what I do in the work that I do.
And with the foundation, what's some of the work that's done with the foundation?
Oh my goodness, so many things. You know, when I started the foundation, and I call it Carlton I created it in his memory. But as I look at it and what I'm doing, I still feel that I did the right thing. But even last night I thought and said, this foundation should have been called Take Back Our Children campaign, because that's what I do. So we have been helping young people with scholarship. The main thing, we want young people to really have a good life. Mm-hmm. You know, when I realize or come to the part that my son is not here, and I think about mothers in general, that anything that keeps our hearts quiet at time is when we know that our children are okay. Mm-hmm. So if I could provide some form of service that will give young people, children, a way out in terms of, and I said, saving lives. Those that want to drop out of school, those that want to join the gang, those that want to be caught up in drugs, or those that, the young girls that want to go out there and maybe sleep around, or she doesn't have good self-esteem and she figured that this is the way to go, and the other kid that want a nice pair of shoes or sneakers, and they don't know they're going to go the other way to get it.
Right. Well, hold that thought. We're going to pick back up right after the
Yeah.
break. Stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. So Maxine, you were saying that, you know, providing a way, a different way to really bring the kids back from going astray, so
Yes.
to speak. Because it's so easy now, especially everything that's glorified on social media. You just want, but no one's seeing how they're getting stuff.
Exactly.
You know, you're making it rain in the club. You're seeing the nice clothes. All the girls have their bodies done.
Yes.
The fancy bags. There's a price to all of this.
Yes. Yes, very much. So I figure that if we have funds, if we have money, if we have someone to talk to those young people, to encourage them, to motivate them, and to say, if you want a pair of sneakers, we'd be able to buy it for you. You want to go to college, but your senior dues, you don't know how it's going to pay. So instead of begging anyone, we'll pay it for you. So whatever you need to stay in school, we're going to help you with it. And that's what we have been doing. We have been giving out scholarship. We have been giving out, no matter how small it is. You know, when I get a phone call that a mother is hungry and she has 3 children and there's no food in the house, I rush to the supermarket. You know, I don't even say, oh, you know, there's a pantry down the road. No, let me do this first. And we rush to the supermarket and we bring you the family things that we know is going to be the necessary thing. You know, I remember I think this was my first call. It was before Christmas. And they had no food, according to what we were told. And my husband and myself, we went to the supermarket and we went out. We were told that the lady was from the Caribbean, so we decided we're not going to bring no turkey because, you know, she may not. So we get all those roasting chicken, we get the rice, the peas, the vegetable, the oil, and everything. And not only that, we brought clothes. We brought clothes for everyone. So we bring it, drop it, ring the bell, and one of the daughter came for the food, and she said, oh, my mom says to come upstairs. And we walk in, and it's a big, gigantic room, just a room with 3 beds in it, including a, what do you call those beds?
Like the futons?
It's one of those beds.
The blow-up beds?
No, it was one of those beds that up and down. So it's two beds.
Yeah.
So that was it.
The bunks.
The bunk bed. There you go. And the mother was just crying of her life and her situation and her children. But one thing I know, that we provide them with the best meal that they would have for Christmas and clothes. Now, my heart just like, when I do that and I see the gratification from them, I'm happy. And I know this is what it's all about, that I must give. I must encourage. I must save lives with these young people out there. I remember the young man that came and he wanted a basketball. And when models were then models, we walk in and he chooses his own ball. You know, so we want to do these things that they don't have to feel like they're in this pressure to go out.
So how do you get funding now? Because of course you need support. So let's let everybody at home know, you guys need donations.
Yes, we do need donation big time, because when you have some of these small grassroots organizations like myself, you don't get that money. And this foundation, we started since 2009, and we still not have any funding from the government. We do fundraisers. That's what we do. If it's a curricule, you know what that is?
Absolutely.
That we get. If it's a curricule, if it's our annual scholarship fund, we do that. Whatever it takes to have a fundraising, to do something. We have good friends that will give us a donation, and people that comes to see what we are doing will give us a donation. And that's how we've been doing. That's how we've been doing, begging so far. I still believe that the day is going to come that I'm going to get that big money too from funding, because we need it. And what we are doing...
And you're doing something good with it.
That's the point of it. That's the point. And we could do more with it.
Absolutely. How does everyone get to reach you at home? What's the website?
So the website is www.clbfinc.org. If you forget that, just look up Carlton Locksley Bennett Foundation, and you will find it like that. We're on Facebook as well. We're on Instagram, and we are on Twitter.
That's amazing. So you're on all social platforms. So everybody at home, if you want, and I encourage you to just support, however big or small you know, because they're doing great work. You're doing stuff.
Thank you.
100% of the proceeds go to those in need and helping everybody. So this is amazing work. What final words do you have for everyone at home?
So we, not only what we are doing here, but what I also do in Jamaica, West Indies. So I am putting a little boy in school and making sure that he has all that he needs, his clothing, everything. He's 6 years old now, and I'm happy with that, and he's happy with that. And all he talks about is, I'm coming to live with you. You know,
Coming to America.
Yes, that's what it says. So I want to bring this out. I made a pledge. So this past February 6th, 29 years since my son was murdered. And we have talked about the PAC program that I do, a mentoring program that started a long time. But what I bring this time was a pledge for everyone. I call upon my brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, everyone, the community, elected affairs, everyone to come in, everyone, and take a pledge. And the pledge says, I pledge to take back our children. And that's what I want to say to everyone. We have to take back our children. This was a message that I got. Take back our children. They're on drugs. They have mental illness. There's that young boy or young girl that's searching for that love. There is that person that feel abused. There is so many things going on. So we have to take them back.
We do. And this has been great. We are going to have you back for another episode because there's so much more I think we have to share. So, Maxine, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so
And
much
we will have
for
you back.
having me. Thank you.
And as always, if you have any questions or comments, you can send us an email at info@beyondfocusmedia.com. I'm your host, Lydia Patel. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll be back again next week. Same time, same place. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us.
Beyond Focus TV show wants and needs your feedback. Did we blunder? Please let us know so we can improve. Was the show helpful to you? Drop us a note so we can share the success with our staff members. Is there something you think we could do better? We welcome new ideas and new approaches to old ideas. Do you have a great suggestion? Let us know and we'll work on it. If you would like to share your comments anonymously, please send us an email at info@beyondfocusmedia.com. If you want to get in touch with the executive producer directly, send him an email at gene@beyondfocusmedia.com. We really look forward to hearing from you.